in today's video, I will be unboxing 10 model airplanes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy massive unboxing number 4. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. And to start us off for today's massive unboxing, over here is this TAM Cargo Boeing 767-300 in the extended range format. TAM was an airline that was headquartered in Brazil, and they formed with LAN to form a TAM. But TAM was just such a sentimental airline for me. It was one of the early airlines that I kind of remember when I first started collecting. So we have this TAM Cargo Boeing 767 by Phoenix Models. Computer generated image of the model is right over here. And I bought this model at Executive Display Desktop Models, doing business as Newark Airline Show in Hopewell, New Jersey. They just opened their retail storefront, so if you haven't checked them out, I would highly recommend, if you're in the tri-state area, to check them out. And let's look at the model right over here. Wow, is this a nice aircraft over here. Starting us off. Wow, look at this. This is sexy, this aircraft. And it is not the easiest aircraft to find, this TAM Cargo Boeing 767-300. I did want this model for my retro JFK airport updates, and just some other airport updates that I do, because I will include this model. Starting us off, we have the TAM Cargo titles, and then we have the TAM titles right over here. I think this is like the bird over here. L1 boarding door, and then we have the TAM Brazil logo right over here. Moving along the aircraft, this aircraft does have pretty good rolling rubber antennas. Something GeminiJets loves to say their models have, but they never do.
Did somebody say boom?
So over here we just have the model itself. It's a very detailed model. Rolling rubber tires look very good. And then we have these winglets right over here. And right over here. Nothing too much about this model, just more of an asset purchase for me, if you will. I really did want some more cargo collections in my aircraft collection. So over here we have the TAM Cargo tail right over here. Metal horizontal stabilizers, which is very nice to see. Usually Phoenix Models does not disappoint with detail. The only problem that I have with Phoenix Models is the fact that their wheels kind of stick to the ground. So it's very difficult in hot weather to kind of display your Phoenix Models aircraft, because they will stick and then they kind of stain the board, if you will. Again, over here on the right hand side, we have the TAM Cargo logo right over here. Registration is PR-ADY right over here, and we have the TAM Cargo titles right over here. Again, this model is just more of an asset purchase for me. It's a really nice model. I would recommend it. There's really nothing to disappoint. It's just more of an asset purchase for me, because I really did want some more cargo planes in my collection. And this is just a retro cargo plane. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a fantastic model. I wish it did have some antennas. I don't think it has any antennas on the belly hand side, but it's a very nice model indeed. And our second model of today's massive unboxing is this absolutely gorgeous aircraft right over here by NG Models. This is the American Airlines McDonnell Douglas MD-80 in the American Soaring Together livery. Now, this model I really wanted because it kind of stands out from the other MD-80s. It does have the working together over here, right over here, and right over here. So this is a really nice model. It's shiny, it's chrome, and NG Models is a fantastic mode of the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 series. If you do happen to come across this model, I would say get it in a heartbeat. probably get it sooner than later before June 20th because NG Models does have their 50% off, not the 50% off, the 50% more points. So if you exchange this model on their CRP program, you will get 50% more points than what you would for a regular model. So this model usually is worth around 13 points. It will be worth 22 points until June 20th. So I will be exchanging this coupon or the CRP model for the 50% off more points. Anyway, back to the model itself. I picked this up again at Executive Display Desktop Models, doing business as Newark Airlines show. And this is a very, very sexy model. I must say, this is fantastic. Again, NG Models, their quality is perfect. I know they've gotten heat lately for their lack of releases, or lack of just variety in their releases. They kind of love the Chinese aircraft and Chinese airlines.
I love you.
But this is the American Airlines McDonnell Douglas MD-82. It looks fantastic. We have our L1 boarding door right over here, our American titles, and then we have the working together titles right over here. Antennas are right over here and two on the belly hand side. And I just love this model. It's shiny. It's really, really nice. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so we can really admire this aircraft right over here. And then we have, I think, right over here, or somewhere around here, we should have these Super 80 titles right over here. Then we have the blue, the white, and the red, the classic American Airlines chrome colors. You will be seeing this model in retro Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport updates, which is coming soon to this channel, along with something else that I'm excited about, which I will say at the end of this video. Then we have our American Airlines tail right over here, metal stabilizers, which is really nice to see the registration and the American flag, as American Airlines is an American carrier. Wheels, they're pretty good. They kind of roll, actually they roll perfectly. Again, these are really, really nice wheels, I must say. Everything about this aircraft is stunning. It's shiny. It looks really, really nice, I must admit. And for our third model, what do we have over here? We just have this mysterious box over here.
It's a trap.
This is another model that I bought on Executive Display Desktop Models, and this is a 1 to 200 scale model. Now you can probably tell by the tail of it over here what this aircraft is. This is going to be a Continental Connection Bombardier-8 Q400 in 1/200 scale. Now, I did not know this model even existed before the owner sent me a picture of this, and this model is over here. As we can see, this is the Continental Connection -8 Q400 by JetX Models in 1 to 200 scale. Now, the owner did share with me that, unfortunately, this model was a little bit defective. One of the propellers did not completely have all 6 pieces to it, but I still took it anyway, considering it's a super rare model, and it looked fantastic at the store. So let's take a look at it. Wow, over here. Would you look at this? This is something else, this model. I've said that 6 times in the video already, but I will say it again. This is the Continental Connection -8 Q400 in 1 to 400 scale. Now, I used to see a ton of these at Newark Liberty International Airport back in the day. I am an old folk.
I'm waiting, old man.
But back in the day, I used to see a whole bunch of Continental Connection and Continental aircraft at Newark Liberty International Airport before they merged with United Airlines. And this Continental Connection in 1 to 200 scale looks fantastic. Wow. This is sexy, this aircraft. I really mean it. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous aircraft. Really, by JetX Models. I haven't really heard too much of the brand. I think this model was made around, it doesn't actually say when the model was made, but it's just an older release and it looks fantastic. So let's get started with this unboxing. So starting us off over here, we have, if I can get this into focus,
a few moments later,
we have our SkyTeam logo right over here. Now, Continental was part of SkyTeam before they merged with United and became finally part of the Star Alliance before they kind of merged with United. Over here, we have our L1 boarding door. We have the Continental titles right over here in the kind of the Times New Roman font. And then the Continental Connection titles right over here. Really cool to see. Now, unfortunately, the owner did say this is a little defective, so I got it as a discounted price, but the fan blades don't really spin. That's fine. We have our Wi-Fi dome antenna right over here, and then I think we have a couple other antennas over here, maybe over there, I'm not really sure. Registration for this aircraft is November 188 Whiskey WQ, and wow, this is something else, this model. I really, really like it a lot. I love Continental livery. We have the kind of like the polar white, and then we have the beige over here as an undertone. And then what everybody wants to see right over here is this globe right over here. This globe looks fantastic, I must admit. This GenX did a 10 out of 10 job on the coloring. It looks accurate, it's sexy, and it's really vibrant. I really love the coloring of this aircraft. Metal horizontal stabilizers, which is really nice to see in a 1:200 scale model. I know the JC Wings version, I think the CRJ200 did not had plastic horizontal stabilizers, unfortunately, and just really don't want to see that in 200 scale. Some other notes about this model. Again, we have our propellers right over here, the left-hand side, and right over here on the right-hand side. And then we have our, we have our nose right over here. Definitely looks fantastic over there. It does not look angry like that GeminiJets ATR 42, which looked really angry. That was kind of disgusting and defective. Now, the only part of this model that the owner did tell me was defective was this propeller right over here. It only has 5 parts, not the 6 blade, but I definitely can probably make something work to get that 6 propeller blade, maybe do some spare parts or whatever. But wow, this model is really, really nice, I must admit. And our next model is quite a special model. Over here is this GeminiJets Delta Airlines Airbus A321neo and the 100 years will never stop climbing 100 years special anniversary colors, of course by Delta Airlines. Now this model, again, I did purchase at Executive Play Desktop Models, doing business as Newark Airline Show, and I did forget to mention earlier in today's video, they are having a grand opening ceremony June 21st, so you might want to check that out if you're in the tri-state area. Again, this model is a fairly decent model. I did feature this in my Newark Airline Airport update, so if you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend you guys check it out. I originally bought this model thinking that the NG Models version wouldn't have a Wi-Fi dome, so I bought the GeminiJets version instead. I like the box. The box art is quite nice. That's kind of why I featured the box. Over here we have the Will Never Stop Climbing, computer generated image of the model, kind of the livery that you find on the actual aircraft. We have the 100 years special over here. And then if I open the box, we kind of have the facts about the model as usual. And then we have this special over here. Then we have the Will Never Stop Climbing Delta 100 years. Kind of why I purchased the model. I kind of like the box a little better for GeminiJets. So let's get to the model itself, but I realized that I forgot the model. So let's get the model right now.
One eternity later.
Alrighty, so over here is the model itself. Now, I did feature this again in my Newark Airport update back last month, so if you haven't checked that out, I'd highly recommend you guys check it out. Starting us off, we have our Delta titles right over here, and then the 100 years over here. The 100 kind of is like a billboard style, and then the years is kind of on like the underside of the belly. This is the special livery, of course, and something that Gemini just loves to say their models have, but they never do. Actually, this one kind of has it. I'm gonna take that back. This one has rolling rubber tires, which is nice to see. But starting us off again, we have our L1 boarding door right over here. And then we have the awards that Delta has won. Delta titles again, 100 years. First antenna right over here. And then something that a lot of people don't like about GeminiJets A321s, which I don't like either of these oversized engines. Gemini loves this. They love to oversize these engines. I'm not
Spicy meat.
Yeah, boy.
not sure why they do it every single time, but they do it anyway. But it's fine for this aircraft because this is the A321neo. But if we move along the aircraft, we can really admire it. But it looks pretty good. I think GeminiJets did a fairly good job with the coloring. I thought that the NG models version didn't have the actual Wi-Fi dome, which is right over here for this GeminiJets version, but I think they do. Anyway, we have our antenna right over here, and right over here we have the American flag, as Delta Airlines obviously is an American carrier. We have the registration, which is November 589DT, and then we have, which I'm hoping this is metal. I think, yes, it's metal actually. We have metal horizontal stabilizers, the gray now, the gray Delta, what do you call it, the Delta triangle over here, and then we have the mini registration right over here near the top of the horizontal stabilizer. Vertical stabilizers are metal, which is horizontal stabilizers are metal, which is nice to see. And then we have a lot of wing flap detail, which is really nice to see. I think GeminiJets is slowly incorporating this from NG models. You have a lot of wing flap detail from over here and over here. In addition to that, we also have 2 emergency exit arrows, the emergency exit arrows of this aircraft. Nice to see that as well. And then we have the Delta triangle near the sharklets of this aircraft. This is a very nice model, I must admit. I think it's gotten a lot of heat for it, but I think GeminiJets did a fairly good job with this model. I don't think it's a bad model at all. Some additional details, we have the raccoon mask over here. GeminiJets did a fairly good job with the raccoon mask again over here. And of course, with all Delta Airlines new planes, we have the Delta on the underside of the belly. Overall, this is a fairly decent model. It's a little bit cheaper than the NG models version, but the NG probably is better if it has the Wi-Fi dome. I'm not sure, so if someone has that and they do know if it has the Wi-Fi dome, please let me know in the comments. But other than that, this is the GeminiJets Delta Airlines Airbus A321neo. And would you look at this? Over here is a $500 model airplane. Over here is this American Airlines Airbus A321 with sharklets by GeminiJets. This is in GeminiJets glory days. This was made in 2015, and I did feature this in my Newark Airport update about a month ago, and this is pretty much in GeminiJets glory days, if you will, when GeminiJets was actually a good company and made good models. But over here is this GeminiJets American Airlines Airbus A321. I finally have it back.
Finally!
And the reason why I say that is because I traded this model about maybe 5 years ago to a friend, and I was regretting that trade every single day until I finally got this model back. This, of course, is just a gorgeous, gorgeous model. And this is the GeminiJets American Airlines Airbus A321 with shark, which is a sexy aircraft, iconic aircraft, especially in American Airlines fleet. This is a really, really nice model, I must admit. Again, in GeminiJets glory days. But let's take a look at this model. This is the 2015 release. So you have the CGI image of the box, of course, over here. And it's just GeminiJets, again, when they were a good company, they had the italicized made for collectors, by collectors. Just a good company, if you will. It's kind of, I would argue, best year they ever made models. They also made the JetBlue A321, which I do own. And this American Airlines Airbus A321 does not disappoint. Over here, we have our American Airlines billboard titles. We have the American Airlines new, kind of the soaring eagle, if you will, right over here. And then we have the rolling rubber tires, something GeminiJets had back in the day, believe it or not. I'm trying not to knock GeminiJets, but this model is just a good GeminiJets model back in the day. Beautifully shaped nose cone of this aircraft, and then we have the beautifully shaped cockpit. L1 boarding door, the One World emblem. L2 boarding door, One World emblem. And then we have our 4 antennas, communication, of course. One over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we actually have some belly antennas. Something GeminiJets does not have nowadays, but they used to have belly antennas in their models. Registration for this aircraft is going to be, if I can pull up the box, it's November 102, November. This model is worth $500 I've seen on eBay, $200, $300, It's a pricey model that I got for only $65. So this is of course by Newark Airlines show. You can never know what you can find at this store. The owner had it and I took it because I've been wanting this model for so long after I traded it. Beautifully shaped nose cone again. The coloring's perfect. There's nothing to complain. This is one of my all-time favorite models. So happy to finally have it back. It's a gorgeous model. Alrighty, so for our next model, over here is everybody's favorite airline, United Airlines. Over here is this United Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the United Together Being United special livery by, of course, NG Models. GeminiJets did a version of this about 3 years ago, but I think last year NG made this model. This is, of course, the second release of this model. The GeminiJets version is the first model. It was a fairly good model, however, I like the NG Models version better. We'll discuss that why in a little bit, but of course this is the United Together, it says on this side, and the other side says Being United on the other side, Boeing 737 MAX 8. And I did get this model because I thought I would be on the United Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 way back from Dallas. I was on a MAX 9. This is still a gorgeous, gorgeous model. So starting us off, we have the United Airlines billboard titles, of course, part of the United Airlines new livery that you have the billboard titles. And then you have the italicized together, and then these little United Airlines, I guess the little dots that kind of match the United Airlines color scheme. You have the Wi-Fi dome right over here, 2 antennas, one over here, and 3 on the bottom of this aircraft. The registration is over here. I don't exactly recall what the registration is of this model. And then you have the American flag, as United Airlines is an American carrier. One of the reasons why I love the NG Models version is just because they perfect the United Airlines blue, Evo blue coloring. The tail is gorgeous. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous tail. You really can see the emphasized globe and then the blue, Evo blue tint on top. It looks fantastic, the tail. It looks really, really nice. If I could turn the model this way, we really could appreciate the tail of this aircraft. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous model. It looks really nice, and it does not look like a Flappy Bird. I know GeminiJets, their 737s can occasionally have the really big wing flap. I believe I can fly. I believe. This one does not. This is a gorgeous wing flap, and you have the emergency exit arrows, of course, on the left and right hand side. If I turn the aircraft around, we could see that we have the Being United over here. And of course, on this aircraft, near the belly, you have the United Together. I think it's Stay United, one of the slogans, I'm not sure what it is, but it's on the belly right over here of this aircraft. Don't really want to show it, just because I don't want to break the model itself. We have the beautiful blue engines right over here and right over here, and the blue Scimitar Max winglets right over here. And then we have connecting the worlds, connecting the people, uniting the worlds right over here, and a Star Alliance icon right over here and right over here, as United Airlines is a member of Star Alliance. This is a really, really nice model. I did feature this in my Newark airport update, and I will continue to feature it because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous aircraft. Again, I purchased it because I thought I would be on this aircraft. Unfortunately, I was on the MAX 9. But the MAX 9 was a gorgeous plane as well. And this just looks really, really gorgeous. It's iconic. It's just a beautiful plane, and I love the livery of it. And moving along to a different direction in today's video, over here are the last 4 models in today's massive unboxing. We have the British Airways Embraer ERJ-145, 2 Aer Lingus planes, and a Saudia Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. All of these were purchased in the last couple of months for London Heathrow. Now, I did publish a London Heathrow retro airport update about maybe a month ago, but I have my eyes set on doing a current version of London Heathrow. So these 4 models will definitely help me do it. We're going to first start off with the Aer Lingus planes. And here they are. Over here are the 2 Airbus A320s, of course, in the Aer Lingus colors by NG Models. Something NG Models kind of did back, I think, earlier this year, but they aren't doing it very often much now. making European models, especially with those hints that just came out today, they're god awful.
LOL! Exclamation! 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 Exclamation!
With all those B's and HGs, they're never making any more European models. Over here are the two Aer Lingus planes that I did purchase. These specifically were for the London Heathrow Airport update. I still have that on my plans to do maybe next month or so, but with full-scale Dallas-Fort Worth and the other full-scale airport that I will be doing, I'll reveal that later in the video. That London Heathrow has been kind of pushed back, I guess, if you will. Just been busy with a lot of other stuff. These models are very, very nice. These are the NG models, Airbus A320 molds, probably the best A320 mold in the market right now. We're going to first focus upon this Aer Lingus Airbus A320 in the regular livery, the new livery if you will. Over here we have the Aer Lingus titles right over here. Aer Lingus' new livery isn't that great, it's kind of boring, but you know, I just need this as an asset. We have the Aer Lingus titles right over here, the Shamrock, and then these gorgeous green engines. Then we have the registration and Ireland flag, as Aer Lingus is an Irish carrier. We also have the Shamrock right over here. NG Models loves to add extra detail to the plane. We have gorgeous wing flap attention to detail over here, gorgeous metal horizontal stabilizers. Pretty much everything about this model is really, really gorgeous. Love that NG Models kind of, I guess I say, did some European models. They probably aren't going to be doing more of them anytime soon with all these Chinese registration models. But this is the reason why NG really should focus more on the European market, because they did a very, very nice job with this model. I love the detail. You have a lot of antennas. We even have the Airbus A320 mold right over here. Mine's my floodlight as a pointer. And then we have the cockpit over here, some additional detail. Then we have the Airbus A320 mold over here. Rolling rubber tires, as NG Models does include rolling rubber tires with all their models usually. We have some antennas on the belly of this aircraft. This is a very, very nice model. I really like that NG Models is kind of focusing upon doing more European models and not just always, well, they did European models, now they're kind of focused on all Chinese carriers, which kind of sucks, if you will. But we have an additional wing flap detail over here, and this is a very, very nice model. The other Aer Lingus model that I have today is this Aer Lingus in the Team Rugby special livery. And this model is kind of an older Aer Lingus plane, I think. You have, of course, the old Aer Lingus titles right near the top of this aircraft. But then you have the Aer Lingus, kind of the green Spirit over here, right over here. You have the two emergency exit arrows right over here and right over here, the emergency exit doors. This engine's all white, and then you have the Team Rugby players right over here, here, and here. The printing of this model is really nice. I have to admit, I think NG Models did a very, very nice job with the printing. Some people have said the Aer Lingus titles are a bit too dark. They're not terrible. I mean, they're a little dark, especially for NG Models, because NG Models usually does a pretty good job with the coloring. But they're not terrible. I mean, it's just manageable. It's not too bad. We have the officially the Irish rugby team right over here. Then we have the Shamrock right over here. Antennas here, here, and here, as well as on the belly of this aircraft. This is a very, very handsome model. I really just love the model a lot. I have pretty much have never shown these two models. These models have been boxed up for maybe a month right now, but decided to take them out for today's massive unboxing just because I really want to focus on London Heathrow. My priority right now is, of course, Dallas-Fort Worth, and the next full-scale airport that I'm doing, which I will say at the end of today's video. But London Heathrow, I do really want to focus on more often in the future, especially with these two models. I think that the Aer Lingus, this one might have it actually. It does say Aer Lingus. Yes, it does say Green Spirit over here. So if I can focus on this aircraft right now. You do see Green Spirit and then the hashtag Green Spirit right over here. Registration, again, since it's foreign, you have the registration on the underside of the winglets right over here. Really nice models, I must say. NG Models usually does a very, very good job with their models. However, the release categories that they choose to release, the airlines they choose to release, a lot of people, including myself, don't love all the airlines that they release. Too many Chinese carriers, but this is why they should focus more on European carriers. And for our third European model of today's massive unboxing, over here we have quite the old model. This is almost as old as I am.
You are an old man and a fool!
The British Airways Embraer E145 by GeminiJets. This model, I think, was made back in 2005, 2006, and is a gorgeous model. It's kind of a rare bird, and I did purchase this for London Heathrow. This model does have a special place in my heart, if you will. I did sell this model back maybe 5 years ago, and I was kind of upset that I sold it because I did need it for London Heathrow. So what I decided to find it back on eBay, and I purchased it back in my collection. This is a really nice model. I must say it's a really just iconic GeminiJets old school model. You don't have any antennas, and there's just really nothing, really like new details to it. Doesn't mean it's a bad model. In fact, I think it's probably a better model than what they make right now, because it's just classic GeminiJets days. Of course, we have the British Airways titles right over here. Really nice livery. It looks iconic, the Union flag right over here. British Airways titles are near the underside of the belly right over here, and then we have the British Airways icon right over here, L1 boarding door, One World's emblem, and then we have just it's a really nice model. The registration of this aircraft, if I can look at the box, it's going to be G-EMBX, as British Airways is a English carrier. Registration is right over here and right over here near the engines of this aircraft. Then we have metal horizontal stabilizers. We have the Union flag right over here. Just more of an asset for my collection. I know it doesn't look like there's a lot to this model. However, it's a really nice model, and I just wanted it back in my collection. I will be using it for London Heathrow. I'm not sure if they did retire the E145 fleet, but I will continue to use it because I just miss this model in my collection every day. And reaching the last model of today's massive unboxing, we have the Saudia Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner lit plane in the Year of Arabic Calligraphy 2021 special livery. Now, at the time I bought this model, I was thinking that I would use it for projects such as LAX and JFK. Unfortunately, I've just had it stored in my collection for about a month now, and I've never really used it at all. Maybe I used it one time or two times, I'm not really sure, but it will be used in the future. That's kind of I guess the negative aspect of collecting is that you kind of forget what you have at some point, and I've definitely forgotten about this model. It's been a recent pickup of mine, and I want to showcase it in my collection. This, of course, is the JC Wings version of this aircraft, and let's just do a little dive down this aircraft right now. Starting us off, this is a very, very colorful special livery. We have the beige over here, and then with the white undertone, the Saudia titles right over here and right over here. I think this is the Saudia flag, I'm not sure. SkyTeam logo near the L1 boarding door, L2 boarding door, and then we have the Year of Arabic Calligraphy engines, which are really nice right over here and right over here. This, of course, is a special livery, hence why you see the Year of Arabic Calligraphy. And then we have near the stabilizers of this aircraft, we have the actual calligraphy itself, which is a really nice aspect to this plane. I'm not sure if this plane has been repainted or not, but it's really nice. Metal horizontal stabilizers. I love all the colors over here. It's just very vibrant, and JC Wings did a very, very nice job with this model. If I turn the aircraft around, we could see that the calligraphy kind of continues on this side of the aircraft, and that we have the Year of Calligraphy, kind of the special livery right over here near the tail of this aircraft. We also have some antennas. Of course, we have antennas here, here, and then the belly side of this aircraft. And the wheels kind of move a little bit. They're not too bad. They're a little stiff, but they're not too bad. Registration is HC-AMD based on what I can see on the camera. And it's a very, very nice model. This is a gorgeous livery. I like it a lot, and it's just really iconic. Unfortunately, you haven't really seen it much in my collection because I've just been so busy with other projects. But I do want to kind of feature this model, especially in the full-scale airport update that I will be doing in the future. Other features to note about this beautiful plane is that the engines are see-through. I really like that detail that companies are doing nowadays. They can kind of see through the engines, makes it super realistic, and I really like it a lot. So this model, again, it's just more of an asset. I don't have a Saudia plane, so at the time I purchased it, I really wanted it for my projects. Unfortunately, I just never had the opportunity to show it, but this model will be definitely featured in my next airport update to come. And as a recap for today's massive unboxing, we have the TAM Cargo Boeing 767-300, the American Airlines Working Together MD-82, the Continental Connection Dash 8 Q400, then we have the Delta Airlines Airbus A321, the 100 years, the American Airlines Airbus A321, the Aer Lingus Airbus A320, and the official Irish rugby team Airbus A320, the Saudia Boeing 787-9, the British Airways Embraer E145, and of course everyone's favorite, the United Airlines being United Boeing 787, Boeing 737, and MAX 8. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's massive unboxing. Please let me know what you think about the editing and if you enjoyed today's massive unboxing. Now the news about this super full-scale airport update reveal is that I will be doing full-scale LAX. I was not happy with my previous LAX airport updates. I feel like they just didn't really belong with the main satellite terminal, and I really like doing LAX. So LAX will be a full-scale airport update, minus the West Gates. Unfortunately, I don't have room for the West Gates, but this will be a full-scale airport update of LAX. Really hope you guys are excited for that. That will be down the road, maybe in a month or two. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would greatly appreciate if you can consider subscribing. We are on the road to 1,500 subscribers. This is Hawaiian Air 2121 signing off. Hoping you enjoyed today's video. Have a good one.